Confidential Memo to Genesee County Medical Examiner's Office from Lucas Stearns. Date October 5th, 2017. The following is a rough copy proposal for professional communication classes for select medical examiner investigators.
Okay, so the truth is, my voice may be pretty deep, but it's not nearly that deep. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lucas Stearns, and this is our final presentation for our career proposal. Now, in this presentation, we are going to discuss the proposal for professional communication seminar classes, specifically towards the field of medical examination investigation. For your viewing pleasure, we have our table of contents here, and followed by our list of figures. Now, the list of figures I'll remain on the page for your viewing pleasure, but we're not going to specifically talk about the figures at this point in time. We're going to discuss the figures as it pertains later on in this presentation, but if anybody would like to take note, here is our figures for the professional communication seminar classes for medical examiner investigators, or otherwise MEI. Now, to give some background as to why specifically I chose this proposal for the MEI field, I spent, as a part of my collegiate education in criminal justice, I spent a 2-month internship working alongside the MEIs from the Genesee County Medical Examiner's Office out of Flint, Michigan. Now, it was a very fruitful experience, a very eye-opening experience, very enlightening, and I couldn't help but notice that a very large portion of what makes the MEI's job run through smoothly is all based in communication. Now, communication has multiple mediums in this field. It can be through, it's very often through cell phone. Not a whole lot of radio contact. I mean, these aren't police officers, so there's not really a CB radio situation going on. It's mainly cell phone. But that can be through phone calls, texts, emails. But as it pertains to in the field, generally speaking, it's all through phone. Now, one of the things, one of the biggest issues, and it's not really so much a frequent issue as much as it is just a serious issue when it happens, is that with any communication, there of course is the presence of possible communication breakdowns. And the MEI field there's no exception to that rule. Now, again, as I said previously, it doesn't happen a large portion of the time. It's very infrequent. Everything runs for the most part pretty smoothly, but it does on occasion happen. And the problem is that when that happens, the end result, if there's a communication breakdown that exists anywhere between the dispatch to stat EMS, or dispatch to the MEIs, dispatch to the police to the MEIs, regardless, anytime there's a communication breakdown, the end result always winds up being the same. And that is that there is a immediate halt in the operation. And that is done for safety's sake. You know, even though this isn't, medical examiner investigators are not police officers, they're still, because they work so closely with the police and closely in situations where there is a loss of life, rather it's from personal injury, rather it's from natural decease, or in the case of violent crimes. When situations like that occur, there's not much known of what to expect on the scene unless it's been communicated. So when there is a communication breakdown, that's immediately where everything halts for the sake of safety. Now, it's easy to understand that anytime you're proposing to add something new to the status quo, so to speak, there comes with change. And sometimes change can be seen as somewhat of a threat. I mean, anytime there's going to be a new
thing coming into what you're already used to, there becomes a sense of things are out of your control. There's a challenge to the familiar habits that you've developed in your professional world. There's a sense of uncertainty, the need to make adjustments, and then there's even concerns about one's own competence when it comes to this particular field. But as I've stated previously, what we're hoping to change through this proposal is something that desperately needs to be changed. This isn't something that is, well, it just happens every once in a while, we'll just brush it off. No, this is a serious matter. Thankfully, it doesn't happen all that frequently, but when it does, it becomes a burden. And hopefully, with what's being proposed, the program will be relatively painless. Now, there are multiple benefits to professional communication seminars, particularly the one that I am proposing for the MEIs. Now, seminars are, as far as convenience, seminars are available at various locations and even online virtual classrooms. So you have the option of, do you want to go and sit in that classroom setting, which many people do prefer as opposed to online school, or do you have a busy life, whether it's a professional life or a personal life, and would you be more suited to the online virtual classrooms? Now, because of the convenience, you also have the opportunity to take your time with these seminars. There are multiple dates for the online, for both online and for on-location classrooms. So you can choose how you do it, choose where you go, and choose the time so that you're able to allocate, how you're going to go about doing this. It makes the change just a little bit more easier. And it gives you the opportunity to really sharpen up your skills, to sharpen up your communication abilities, and especially in the professional environment where communication is a vital part of what we do. Now, in terms of the implementation, we're asking that the funds be allocated to the county office to allow for a few select investigators to take part in a specific professional communication seminar from AMA titled Responding to Conflict Strategies for Improved Communications. Now, this, after doing research on the various classes that are offered from AMA, I believe that this is going to be the perfect one for these conflict situations. These high focus things where you need to have your communication going and you need to do it carefully and you need to do it properly. In terms of the financial cost, the prices vary. We're proposing that at least 5 MEIs to be selected by the Chief Medical Examiner take part in this class. Now, they vary depending on, not so much depending on location, whether you're going to do an online class or whether you're going to do an in-classroom class. That doesn't change, other than gas mileage if you choose to do an on-location class. But now, the cost for each individual for non-AMA members is $2,345, and for those who are enrolled AMA members, $2,095. Now, given that there's only a small amount of difference, I don't personally recommend that our MEIs have to be AMA members. I would ultimately, for the sake of bulking it together, if they wanted to later on, that's completely up to them. But for being that we're asking for funds to be allocated for this, I don't believe that it's going to be necessary. So, if we have 5 medical examiners to be selected, we're looking at an ultimate cost of $11,725. Now, what we're going to be focusing on in these classes, so that we know what to expect, is we're going to be covering the principles of recognizing the underlying causes of conflict, to map conflict using a 5-step approach, to identify ways to develop flexible responses to personal and professional conflicts, to practice applying models, techniques, and strategies to manage your interpersonal communication behaviors in conflict situations, and to implement strategies to improve your communication and effectively respond to conflict. I think that this class is going to be perfect. The key points that the AMA class is providing will be perfect for this specific environment where it tends to be not necessarily high stress, but there's conflict. and just to avoid the communication breakdowns in highly critical situations. I think this is going to be that this will be perfect for our MEIs, and I certainly hope that this proposal does go through, and we can sharpen up our communication, our professional communication skills in this field. I thank you all very much for taking time to hear my proposal. I hope it was enlightening. I hope it was informative. I hope it was educational. And I also hope it was entertaining. Again, if we need to see the list of figures, just simply dial back towards the beginning of the proposal. And just for the sake of it, for the sake of ease, we will also leave off on the list of figures to say. Thank you all very much.